Muse fans, you've had this date circled on your calendar for a long time. Muse live at Rome Olympic Stadium, available in stores and for download today. We couldn't be more happy to welcome two-thirds of the band here. Matt and Dom are here from Muse here on the Kevin.
Hey.
Hi, boys. How are you?
Very good. How you doing?
Great.
Happy holidays. Great to
Happy
see
holidays.
you again. What's it's impossible not to be into December and not start reflecting back on the year that was. How's 2013 been for you guys?
It's been great, isn't it?
It's been a good laugh. Yeah, it's been very busy. Yeah, been all over the place. We're coming towards the end of a big tour now. We got we just had a break for a couple of weeks, and then we're going to Australia in December, and then we're kind of done, aren't we? It's, that's it. Yeah, we've been all over Europe, all over the world.
How long did you just have off?
We just had a break for about 2 weeks and 2.5 weeks or something.
Yeah, nearly 3 weeks or something like that, which is long for us.
I was going to ask, does that feel like a long time? Like you really need to be doing something?
Forever.
Yeah, get a little bit. Yeah, I started picking up the guitar yesterday and sort of strumming out some new songs and stuff. So yeah, you get a bit itchy for the road when you've been off the road for a while. But at the same time, when you've been off on the road for a long time, you can't wait to go home for a bit. You know. So
Yeah, of course. Is there ever a time as a professional musician?
Professional.
And I always find this.
Semi.
Am I using the term loosely? I always
stick with
find
novice.
this interesting because many people get into the music business, start a band because they love music, because that's their passion, and then you're lucky enough to be a band like Muse that it's become it's become successful in an occupation, and now you're doing it for reals. Is there ever a time where you don't want to play music, don't want to have anything to do with it, just want to forget about it? Or is it something that kind of every single day you wake up, like you mentioned, you got a little bit itchy, you haven't played for a couple weeks, you can't wait to play again?
Yeah, no, for whatever reason, I think it's in your blood. I mean, like it's my nature. Since I was about 11 years old, I knew that that's what I wanted to do, and so that's never really gone away. I think I've sort of thought about the possibility of it going away, but that's never really. My nature just kicks in, and I just need to be in front of the piano or the guitar, pretty much most days, so that passion's never really gone for me. I said about you, Dom.
How about you?
No, it's true. I think that's why it's the same for all of us, and Chris as well. It's why we started the band at such a young age, really, when we were kids, and why we started playing instruments when we were so young. But yeah, I think you find you're always thinking about music, listening to music, thinking about music. I think you're constantly getting inspired. So Matt's right. It's certainly part of us now.
Do you think you listen to music different than we would, for example? Like, we're fans of music, but we don't create it. Do you listen to it with that ear?
I went through a stage, I think, in where I stopped listening to music because I found it, kept influencing me and stuff like that. So
you didn't want to be.
I sort of cut off listening to music altogether. And I kind of thought that I'd write pure music if I didn't have any outside influence at all for a long period. But now I've sort of gone back and I'm starting to enjoy. Over the last few years, I really am listening to a lot of music, especially rock music again, like especially classic rock music, which I haven't listened to for a long time. I'm getting really back into that again as a fan. So as I said, I went for a while where I was listening to sort of everything but rock. I was listening to a lot of classical music, a lot of sort of jazz and other things that were just sort of like for me more out of what we do, because we spend all of our days listening to like screamingly loud amps and Dom's crash cymbals literally like deafening. Do you know what I mean? So when you go home, you want to listen to something a bit different. But as I said, the last few years, I'm going back to like listening to kind of the kind of rock music I was getting into when I was a kid.
Okay, so you're starting to listen to it again for the last couple of years.
Yeah, I'm listening to rock music again, like as a fan for the first time, like really in the last few years. Yeah.
Okay, but the worry that it's going to influence you is not there anymore?
No, I'm into it. I think the next album's going to sound like Back in Black, basically. So.
Okay, good.
Nothing wrong with that, by the way.
When Madness came out, by the way, we all went, "What the hell's going on?"
Yeah, no, we veered off. The last couple of albums, I think we sort of, when you've done we did 3 or 4 albums. The first 3 albums were very much focused on 3-piece rock and all that stuff. And I think, when you get into album 4 and 5 and 6, that's where we were. I think we decided to experiment with other things, electronics. But as I said, I think what we're going to come. I think we're going back to where we started. I think on the next album, I think just a bit straight rock is coming back for us. We want to get back to that 3-piece sound. We've done a lot of experimentation with all these other weird things, and I think it was good for us to do that, to sort of basically remind ourselves that you can't just beat guitar, bass, and drums. You just can't beat that,
You are hearing the voices of Matt and Dom from the band Muse here on the Kevin Bean Show. We're going to get into talking about the new DVD available called Live at Rome Olympic Stadium. Speaking of being music fans, once you get to the point where you guys in the industry, where you are, top of the charts, you get a chance to meet pretty much anybody, I imagine. Have you met any musical heroes that if I had gone to a 7-year-old Matt or Dom and told you that one day you'd be meeting fill in the blank, it would have blown your mind?
Yeah, been plenty,
probably loads over
Yeah,
the years.
Brian May was a big one. Especially because he was what was it? He actually presented us with an award, I think, an award show in England, and he came on the stage like he's about 7 foot tall with hair about 6 foot wide.
That's bizarre.
And I sort of thought, what's he doing?
And you grew up in England, you worship at the altar of Queen, right? Like, that's as good as it gets, is to meet the guitarist from Queen.
Yeah, no, that was a strong one. Also, a major one for me was probably the most starstruck I've ever been. I can say this to him now. He's probably listening if he hears. Tom Morello.
Tom Morello.
I still can't quite relax when I'm around Tom.
Is that right?
When I'm around Tom Morello, he actually came to a party at my house here. We had a New Year's Eve party, and he was the first guest that turned up. And he came. He was at the bar, and I sort of went up to him and went, I can't quite handle that Tom Morello's here. I don't know what to say. I was like buying him a drink. He was such a cool, lovely, down to earth guy, and we were talking about kids and family and stuff. But what he didn't know was deep down, I was literally going, "Oh my God,
yeah,
this is Rage Against the Machine." I literally can't handle this
exactly the same way about Tom. I mean, Kevin's favorite band of all time, no offense, Muse, your number 2, I think, is Rage Against the Machine. I mean, that's right, Kevin. That's your favorite band ever.
Absolutely.
And we've been lucky enough at KROQ. Obviously, we've had Tom in 20 times over the years. And he is the coolest guy in the world, but when you first meet him that first time and you have this image of he's the guitar god from Rage, you think, I can't handle this. And then he just immediately disarms you because he's just so charming and so down to earth.
Absolutely.
I talked to him since he's been one of the guitarists for the E Street Band, by the way, because he's geeking out over Bruce Springsteen as much as you geeked out over him.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's amazing. That's actually the first I heard of that.
He would come out and play a song with him or two,
Well, he's recording with him now. He's on the road with him. I mean, it's a gig he's doing now. So, I mean, that's the beautiful thing about
it's an amazing
music.
Combo, those two,
Exactly.
The boss of the guitar and the boss of just being the boss of everything.
The boss of everything. The guys from Muse are here. We need to take a break, and we will come back on the world famous KROQ.